for block number 1 with the nominees. Senator Alma Francis Heyliger, you're recognized for your 3 minutes.
Good morning to my colleagues. Good morning to the people of the Virgin Islands. Before I begin, I would like to say happy holidays, specifically happy Thanksgiving to all of you that will be spending the next couple of days with your family. And also just make sure that you recognize that this time is a time of giving, Thanksgiving. And hopefully we get the chance to really enjoy this time period. I rise in support of every individual in this block. I had an opportunity whether to attend the hearings or speak to them one-on-one, or sometimes I sat back and watched the video footage when I was not able to attend. And I am very happy when people they come forward and they offer themselves to be able to be on these boards and commissions. And we recognize their talents and strengths of people here in the territory to help bring forward public service to the people of this Virgin Islands. I want to spend the majority of my time speaking specifically on our Commissioner designee, Mr. Ray Martinez, who is designated to be the Commissioner of the Virgin Islands Police Department. One of the things that I had a chance to speak to Mr. Ray Martinez had to do with why it's very important that this agency excels in a way that they understand that they need to have a lot more community involvement. We have to see situations where individuals in this community that are dealing with crimes are not feeling they're re-victimized while they're engaging in the police department. I spoke to Mr. Martinez and encouraged him to deal with the morale of the very officers in the agencies, because these are the people that are the gatekeepers and the protectors of the people of this territory. And we have to make sure that they have all the services, whether it's psychological, whether they have services to make sure that they're at ease to do their job. We spoke quite a bit about payments and wages and overtime and all of these things that happen within this department. But ultimately, the police department is here to protect and serve. I can honestly say, in speaking to Mr. Martinez, I was very well impressed with some of the things that he had discussed that he intends to bring forward.
30 seconds.
He intends to bring forward and to improve the police department. I am going to stress that one of the things for me that I would love to see improved, Mr. Martinez, has to do with when individuals go into the police department and they're seeking for help after they have been a victim of a crime. It is very difficult to be engaged with an officer who is also administering the phone lines. When you walk in there and you are talking and saying, I have been hurt, I have been robbed, somebody attempted to do me something, I do not need to have an officer telling me to hold on every 5 seconds so they can answer the phone.
Time.
It discourages people and it makes them feel like they're not getting the service they deserve. So I am looking forward to voting in the affirmative for all of these individuals. And thank you so much for your time, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator Francis Heyliger. Senator Alma Francis Heyliger, you're recognized for your 3 minutes.
Good day once again to my colleagues and the people of this territory. I rise in support of the individuals in this block. We attended several meetings where there were several resolutions brought forward to honor and commend many people in this community that have done great things throughout their lives, and we wanted to appreciate them. In regards to Hillary Braga, I want to say that when we were at the committee hearing and we were discussing of his contributions to pan music and the variety of things when it came to the children of this territory and how so many of them looked up to him and continued the trade of steel pan music, I was very appreciative to hear all of the stories and what he had brought to the table. We also am commending Mr. St. Clair Alfonso Wadabli de Silva, who has been my co-worker here at the legislature for quite a few years. And we have all known him for his calypso music and what he has culturally brought to this territory, and I think this award is deserving. We also had Athniel C Adiotley. For those of you that know over the years all the public service that Adi has brought and done on behalf of this territory, to include the many years of him at the radio station, WSTA, the discussions, the times that he have held on with us during the hurricanes, and even in a time when he has to deal with his own personal situation, he's still making sure he is there on behalf of the people, and we love and commend him for his continued work here in this territory and outside of the territory. Mr. Eldridge Blake, as we know, this piece of legislation was to rename the UVI Sports and Fitness Center after him. In speaking at the hearings and with many other people, he has left a very large impact on those that have been involved with him, especially through the sports industry. And from discussions and even testifiers here in the institution, many people felt that this was an award that is deserving of this individual. I know we had discussions to amend this piece of legislation when it came to a financial aspect of it, and I will be looking forward for that amendment to be coming. But when it comes to all of these nominees, inclusive, we also had Mr. Holland.
30 seconds.
I'm running out of time. If I recall, we also had Mr. Holland Redfield, whom I can honestly say, unfortunately, has passed away. But Mr. Redfield has been a stalwart in our community here in this territory for years. His contributions, not only to the community, but also to this institution as a former senator, has been something that we can all look to as an example of someone that came into this community, relocated, and made the Virgin Islands their home. As a person that has spoken with Mr. Holland Redfield over the years, as I too was a talk show host as many times as you know, with what he has done with the community, he has always supported and shared with me always a note of encouragement. So I want to say thank you, and I support all of these resolutions to honor these individuals in our territory. Thank you, Madam Chair, for the time.
Thank you, Senator Francis Heyliger. Senator Alma Francis Heyliger, you're recognized for your 4 minutes.
Good afternoon once again, colleagues, to the people of this territory. I participated in the Committee of the Whole where we discussed all of these zonings, and between the discussions from the necessity of having some of these zones altered in order to assist with businesses, some were to assist with people and their residences, some were to assist with families to expand and build family units. I saw a need at that time in discussing with the individuals that were here that something is severely wrong in various areas when it comes to our zoning laws. It prompted me to submit legislation, a bill draft, in order to try to upgrade and tweak some of the areas when it comes to zoning here in the territory. A lot of things that we deal here with on this floor, sometimes from my perspective, could have been dealt with within the various agencies, and it's because of how our laws are written, they need to be upgraded and dealt with. I have to say that I am in support of most, if not all, of these pieces of all of these zoning requests, because I did take the time out and I saw the necessity of where some of them. We had discussions, very lengthy ones, where I had some concerns, but for the most part, they were clarified while we were here at that hearing. And I appreciated all the testifiers that came in, and even the representatives of the individuals that were dealing with these pieces of land in order to seek their rezoning. So I don't have much to say, and I will vote on at the appropriate time. But what I will say that we as a body really have to work on upgrading and tweaking our zoning laws so some of these things could be processed in a much easier fashion. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Senator Francis Heyliger, you are recognized for your 3 minutes.
Thank you. Good afternoon once again to my colleagues and the people of this territory. I rise in support to all of these bills here in this block as it relates to Bill 34-0040. I am in support of the Nurse Licensure Compact. As you know, sometimes we have issues here in the territory where nurses need to come in, especially sometimes when we're dealing with state of emergencies, etc., as well as participation in the Nurse Compact is also open to nurses here in the Virgin Islands can also participate as well. I will be having an amendment coming forward to assist with shoring up to guarantee that when these individuals do come to work in the territory, that we are aware, specifically the nurse board is aware that they're here working and taking care of the people here in the Virgin Islands. As it relates to 340047, I am in support of this seed bank program. This is a great opportunity especially to secure aspects of our culture with seeds that are grown and indigenous here to the Virgin Islands, as well as other aspects to make sure that you have a bank that farmers can tap into, because agriculture here in the Virgin Islands is very important to me, and I hope that we continue to build programs such as this to guarantee and ensure its continuation. As it relates to 340051, the fluoride water bill, this has been a bill that's been on the books for several years. Some of the concerns that I did bring up during the committee hearings had to do with the fact that how we are set up here in the territory to distribute fluoride in the water. We have cisterns. We have situations where potable water, for the most part, is not drinkable. So we have to figure out a way how to get this fluoride to these children. We came up with compromises in regards to education and additional assistance to the schools. So I was very happy for that aspect of it. So once we get it on the books, hopefully once we figure out with the water part, we'll get it done. It'll already be law. 34-0062, when it speaks to gender balance boards, I can honestly say that I believe in gender equality. I believe that when you have a situation that you have options for people to be on boards, it should be based on who's most qualified.
30 seconds.
I honestly believe that if you're in a situation, I do not have a problem where we had a board where every single member is female, because all of them are qualified. I don't have a problem if all were male. I understand the struggles at times we deal with gender equality, but I will say this. I would rather someone on a board who is capable of doing their job as opposed to just judging them based on their gender, and I will vote at the appropriate time. Madam Chair, may I just finish with the last one?
Sure.
Thank you. Bill 34-0069, as it relates to master contracts for the architects and engineers, as we continue on with our improvements and changing and infrastructure, dealing especially after these hurricanes and so many things here in the territory, we need to have things in place to make sure that when it comes to the engineering and the architectural aspect, that this master contract is in place to guarantee that these projects push forward in a timely manner. So I am in support of this bill as well, and I would like to thank you, Madam Chair, for the additional time.
Thank you, Senator Francis Heyliger. Senator Franklin D. Jones. Senator Francis Heyliger, you're recognized for your amendment.
Thank you once again, colleagues. I move to amend Bill number 34-0040 offered by Senator Alma Francis Heyliger. Bill number 34-0040 is amended. Oh, I'm all over. The amendment number is 34-184. Amendment offered by Senator Alma Francis Heyliger. Bill number 34-0040.
Senator?
Yes.
You have to restate your motion.
Not a problem. I offer amendment number 34-184 to bill number 34-0040, offered by Senator Alma Francis Heyliger. Bill number 34-0040 is amended by adding an appropriately numbered section that reads as follows. Section Title 27 Virgin Islands Code, Chapter 1, Subchapter 5A is amended by adding a section 122 to read as follows. Subsection 122A, any physician, hospital, federally qualified health center, urgent care facility, surgical center, and any other healthcare entity defined in 19 VIC Code, subsection 221, or any other healthcare facility or provider that employs a nurse pursuant to the Nurse Licensure Compact shall register the nurse in the Nurse Licensure e-Notify system no later than 10 days after the nurse's first day of employment. If a nurse is not registered within 10 days of the nurse's employment, the Virgin Islands Board of Nurse Licensure shall impose a $500 fine on the hiring entity. The Virgin Islands Board of Nurse Licensure shall impose an additional fine of $1,000 on the hiring entity if the nurse has not been registered within 30 days of the date of employment. B, if it is determined that a nurse does not possess a valid multi-state license or has submitted any false or fraudulent statements or document to the Interstate Commission of Nurse Licensure Compact Administrators or to a prospective employer, the Virgin Islands Board of Nurse Licensure shall immediately report its finding to the physician or entity defined in 19 VIC Code subsection 221 or any other healthcare facility or provider, and to the Attorney General of the Virgin Islands. I so move.
Has been properly moved by Senator Francis Heyliger, seconded by Senator Javon E. James, Senator Franklin D. Johnson, Senator Marvin Blyden. Hearing no objections, so ordered. Senator Francis Heyliger, you're recognized for your 3 minutes.
Thank you. Good afternoon once again, colleagues. Good afternoon to the people of this territory. I rise in support of Bill number 34-0078 as it relates to the transfer of the property as it relates to Port Authority. 34-0081. I also rise in support of this piece of legislation as to upgrade and improve the laws in the territory when it relates to barbering and cosmetology. I have a piece of amendment that I was attempting to offer today, but unfortunately, due to some additional amendments, we have to make adjustments, so I might be able to do that at a later time. 34-0085. This specific one, when it relates to dealing with the wildlife and the species, invasive species, I do support this piece of legislation. As it relates to 34-0089, appropriating the funds for the Cruise Bay Fish Market, I am a sponsor as well of this piece of legislation. I think it's very important that when we're dealing with agriculture here in the territory, specifically with our fishermen, who I consider the farmers of the sea, it is important that they get all the tools necessary for them to do their jobs. Specifically for me, I had a meeting with some of the fishermen here in the territory last night, and quite a bit of things are happening with them. And I think as a body and an institution, we have to do our very best to assist them as much as we can. So I'll be working on some legislation as well as some other things in regards to assisting our fishermen here in the territory. 34-0097, I am 100% in support of removing corporal punishment in schools. I will say, as a young child, I did deal with corporal punishment a few times, but I will say that I don't know if it was for humiliation or to get me to curtail whatever the situation is. I don't know if it worked, but I'm happy that it's no longer an option when it comes to schools. 34-0099. this piece of legislation as it relates to changing the mandatory age for police officers, firefighters, and correction officers. I am in support of this legislation currently based on what we had discussed to give these individuals an opportunity to continue working. Right now, how the law is set up is 60, and we're attempting to change it to 65 because these are the people that are out there in the trenches. They're climbing the ladders, they're outing the fires, they're working with the people and criminals, and we need them in our community. And sometimes dealing with our workforce, it is important that the numbers are there. But what I will say is while these people are true public servants and they're doing their very best and they're willing to go and take physicals to extend their time, to work additional time, and if this law is passed, they will have the option to now work up to age 65. I am going to say this. I too hope someday in our own institution, we're also willing to work up to age 65 as true public servants.
Hi.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator Francis Heyliger. Senator Francis Heyliger, you're recognized for your point of inquiry.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair, through the chair. Earlier, you made a statement that during the time when you are reading of a piece of legislation, and I want to make sure we have clarity on that. So in the future, myself and all my colleagues will be aware of what is appropriate and what is not. I was under the assumption under Mason's rule, my vote could be changed prior to the pounding of the gavel. So if something has been altered that I am not aware of, could you please educate me along with the public and my colleagues so I will follow whatever rules that we have in the institution?
Could you direct me specifically to the Mason rule that you're referencing?
Well, I don't
Senator?
have it on me, but this is something that we were given books and we studied and we also paid attention. And being a member and also working in this institution for 22 years, I have always known that prior, based on the rule, to the pounding of the gavel, then and only then, prior to that, we could change our vote. So I just want to make sure.
Okay. Once you direct me to the Mason's rules that you're referencing, then I will have that conversation with you.
I would like to know, Madam Chair, where exactly, what rule did you use to tell me that once you begin to read, that time period is when we could no longer change our vote? That's what I'm trying to understand. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Senator Joseph. Okay, great.